The interior of Flight 724, a bespoke, ultra-luxury long-haul carrier, was designed to feel like a high-end lounge in the sky. The cabin was a masterpiece of classic design. Deep walnut with paneling, cream leather suites, and soft, recessed golden lighting that mimicked the warmth of a sunset. This wasn't a standard flight. It was an invitation-only route for the world's financial elite. Dr. Elena Vance sat in Suite 1A, the most secluded spot in the cabin. She was dressed in a pristine, tailored white wool coat and a matching silk blouse. On her lap was a slim carbon fiber briefcase containing the signed regulatory approvals for the global aviation safety merger, a deal that would reorganize the very air traffic control systems they were currently flying through. Elena wasn't just a passenger. She was a newly appointed oversight chair for the International Flight Authority, IFA. Across the aisle sat a group of hedge fund managers, their loud laughter echoing to the cabin as they toasted to their latest acquisitions. Attending to them was Sarah Jenkins, a lead flight attendant who had spent 15 years serving the old guard. Sarah had a practiced smile for the men in the suits, but her eyes turned cold whenever they landed on Elena. We want to take a quick moment to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story. To Sarah, Elena didn't fit the classic profile of a 1A passenger. She saw a black woman with quiet poise and assumed she was perhaps a lucky contest winner or a high-end personal assistant. "Excuse me," Elena said softly as Sarah passed by for the fourth time without acknowledging her. "May I have a glass of still water and the manifest of the cargo hold? I'm conducting a routine safety audit." Sarah stopped, her smile disappearing into a thin, jagged line of contempt. "The cargo manifest is for authorized personnel only, honey, and the water is coming. We have actual VIPs to serve first." The social jury, the hedge fund managers, smirked, one of them glancing up from his tablet to watch the exchange. In the suite behind them, a young tech entrepreneur sat quietly, reading a physical book, the background of the cabin remaining clear and focused. 10 minutes later, Sarah returned. She didn't carry a tray. She held a glass of dark, staining tomato juice intended for the passenger in 2B. As she passed Elena, the plane hit a minor pocket of clear air turbulence, hardly enough to rattle a drink. But Sarah saw her opening. With a deliberate, sharp tilt of her wrist, she tripped. The thick, red juice exploded across Elena's white wool coat and silk blouse. It wasn't a splash, it was a saturation. The red liquid dripped onto the ivory leather of the suite and the carbon fiber briefcase. The cabin went silent. The only sound was the low hum of the jet engines. "Oh, goodness!" Sarah gasped, her voice dripping with a fake, mocking horror. "I am so sorry. These suites are so cramped, it's hard to navigate around. Well, people who take up so much space." Elena didn't scream. She didn't even jump. She looked down at the red stain, then up at Sarah. "That was a choice, Sarah, not an accident." "It was turbulence, dear," Sarah sneered, her voice dropping to a whisper so only Elena could hear. "But look on the bright side. Now you have a reason to go back to economy where you belong. Security." Two white air marshals, standard for high-risk elite flights, stepped out from a galley. They were large men in obsidian suits, their faces unreadable. "Is there a problem, Sarah?" the lead marshal asked, looking at Elena. "This passenger is being disruptive and making accusations after a minor accident," Sarah lied, pointing at the stain. "I want her moved to the crew rest area or restrained until we land. She's a safety risk." The marshal stepped toward Elena, their hands moving toward their utility belts. Elena Vance stood up, even covered in red juice. Her quiet authority was suffocating. She reached into her briefcase, which was waterproof, and pulled out a gold-embossed credential. "Marshal, stand down," Elena said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it had the weight of a gavel. "I am Dr. Elena Vance, Chair of the International Flight Authority. I am currently on a Tier 1 safety inspection." The lead marshal froze. He looked at the credential, then at the social jury, who were now frantically pulling out their phones. Only one passenger, the young man with the book, had his phone raised clearly, capturing the entire interaction. Sarah's face went from a splotchy, triumphant red to a ghostly, translucent white. That can't be. You're just a passenger. I am the woman who signs the operating certificates for this entire fleet, Sarah, Elena said. She turned to the marshals. This aircraft is currently in violation of the IFA Code of Conduct and Safety. The lead attendant has demonstrated a deliberate intent to harass a passenger and, more importantly, a failure to maintain emotional stability during minor turbulence. Elena picked up the cabin satellite phone, a direct line to global air traffic control. This is Idaho 1. Elena said into the receiver, I am declaring a safety grounding. Redirect Flight 724 to the nearest diverted landing strip, O'Hare International. Clear the runway. I am initiating a full crew audit and a ground stop for this tail number. You're grounding the plane? Alistair, one of the hedge fund managers, stammered. We have a $400 million closing in London. You can't do this. I just did, Elena replied, looking him in the eye. Safety is not a luxury for few. It is a requirement for many. And if the crew cannot respect the passengers, they cannot be trusted with the aircraft. The natural realism of the fallout was instantaneous. The plane began a slow, bank turn. The captain's voice came over the intercom, sounding shaken. Ladies and gentlemen, we have received a mandatory grounding order from the IFA. We are diverting immediately. Elena looked at Sarah, who was literally shaking, her hands gripping the back of a seat. Sarah, Elena said softly, you mentioned that I took up too much space. In 20 minutes, when we land, you'll find that I've taken up the space where your career used to be. You are relieved of your duties. Marshals, please escort the former lead attendant to the jump seat. She is to remain there until we are met by the FAA on the tarmac. The marshals, knowing that their own licenses were on the line, didn't hesitate. They took Sarah by the elbows. They didn't do it with the aggression they had planned for Elena. They did it with the cold, professional detachment of men who knew the power structure had just flipped. As Sarah was led toward the back of the plane, her heels clicking frantically on the walnut floor, the social jury turned their cameras on her. The woman who had been their favorite was now a liability they didn't want to be associated with. Elena sat back down in her suite. She took a linen napkin and calmly wiped a drop of juice from her briefcase. Alistair, she said to the hedge fund manager, who was still staring at her, I hope your closing can wait, because I have a feeling the audit of your firm's travel expenses is going to take much longer. The plane descended through the clouds, leaving the sun behind. The classic luxury of the cabin remained, but the atmosphere was forever changed. The woman in the stained white coat sat in the quiet, watching the lights of the runway approach. A reminder that when you try to ground someone who was born to fly, you're the one who ends up crashing.